Happy Sherp-o-ween, y'all. Today we have our typical Domain Sherpa review where we're discussing what's going on in the market today, but it's our annual Halloween special where we're all dressed in costume. Now, do not be fooled just because we're dressed like fools. We have 5 instead of our usual 3 panelists on the show. And we are discussing some pretty important topics, discussing what's going on in the market today, some changes in 4letter.com values. Also, I think because of the combination of who's on the show and a larger panel than usual, they discuss some old deals, some interesting happenings. And then just because I was probably a little busy introducing with their costumes, I'll give them each a proper invite right now before the show begins. We have Drew Rosener, CEO of MediaOptions.com, the domain brokerage firm. We have Ammar Kubba, one of the most OG domain investors of all time, Afterthought. We have Larry Fischer of GetYourDomain.com, domain brokerage firm as well. Richard Lau, domain investor and founder of Logo.com. And the original idea man behind Sherp-o-ween, Adam Strong of Evergreen.com. Enjoy the show and have a great Halloween. Hey, Sherpa Network, happy Halloween. Today is the best show of the year, brought to you by DomainSherpa, inspired by our very own Adam Strong. Today we're going to do a regular Sherpa review, but don't take us too seriously. We're in costume. We will go over domains going to auction soon at NameJet. We're going to skip the investor submitted portfolio portion in the interest of time, since there are 6 of us instead of the usual 4. Joining us today are 5 past Sherpas and industry thought leaders. I feel like anyone who just listens is really missing out on the video today. So where will we start? Well, we'll start with me. I am a summer garden. My daughter chose my costume and assisted me with my makeup. And thematically joined is I bring you Mother Earth. Mother Earth, hello. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I don't like labels. I just kind of, I'm just doing my thing here in the mushroom patch.
Well, do you know your mushroom patch background makes us unable to see your wings? Maybe if you if you move for a minute, we can see them. All right.
There you go. You got
all
some
right.
wings?
All right. Yeah. Well, maybe you're a Mother Earth
That's
fairy
right.
because you come in and out of.
I wonder why my wings aren't getting picked up.
Well, you keep working on it. And the original costume dresser, John Wick. John, you look a little bloody.
Yes.
You have anything else to say? Where's your dog?
Yeah.
Oh, he brought the dog!
I love it. Love it. Not just a puppy.
Oh, and brought to you from the 1970s. Somehow all the Coke is gone. Who do we have here?
Okay. I'm ready.
All right, we are gonna boogie today. Over here, snowboarding. Speaking of a pile of Coke, snowboarding. Hey, Richard, what's going on?
Hey, I'm up in Whistler, so I just threw out my ski gear. I'm ready to roll. There's no snow outside yet, but it's coming.
All right, all right. Nice. And Juan Valdez, how's that cigar? What do you...
Thank you, thank you. As you can see from the background, we've gotten involved in some other products and we're having some trouble. I may have to leave shortly.
All right. I love that we made it bigger this year. I think we should just completely. So, Jason Shepard is DJing on Halloween, doing a Twitch stream. Maybe we should look into a real domainer get-together Halloween party or something. I don't know. But this is where it's at today. Ammar, I feel like every so often you should just throw out crazy sayings and enthusiasm.
What would make that difference than today? Every day.
Yeah, Ammar actually isn't in costume. He's in costume all the other days pretending he's normal.
There we go.
Nice.
All right. I think Drew's probably in the right state of mind to say crazier things. So, and John Wick's just not going to say anything.
It is.
He's going to dazzle us with his acting.
His true career. Seriously, 5 of the brightest minds in the domain industry, as silly as you can get. You're some smart cookies here. Let's do this. What's New Sherpas is our first segment. We're going to share one purchase or sale you've made over the past few weeks. Learn what you pay to receive for the domain, why you thought it was a good deal, how the negotiations progressed. So remember, no hints, no info, just the domain in the beginning. And the only guy who brought the big guns is going first.
Me?
That's you, Juan.
Oh, see. English is new for me, sorry. Well, did a number of sales, went to look at the contracts to see if any of them had non-disclosures in it. They didn't, but I did a purchase. So I purchased it for a friend, helped him out. The domain was sellmyhome.com.
Ooh, you're a good friend.
Yes. So I need you to say, what do you guys think I bought it for? Or what I bought it for him for?
And I think, so normally I kind of just let you guys pick who's going to go. But I think with this many people, it'll just be easier if I'll just go the way I see the tiles. So snowboarder, you're up first.
All right. Sell my home. You're buying it. I'm going to say you got a deal.
What?
Yeah. I think you paid.
Brooklyn, Larry? No way.
Can I do a range or do I have to pick a number?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, I'm going to say between 50 and 80K.
Really, look around you, Richard. How serious do you think these rules are? You're out. Okay, I'm sorry. What number did you say?
I said between 50,000 and 80,000.
Okay. All right. Anything to say about why you thought that, or
it's a fantastic for a realtor. I think it's a fantastic call to action. It's a 3-word domain, which is up there, but it's a definitive call to action. And I think that it's a very powerful one. It's not geo restricted in terms of, sell my Vancouver home or sell my Colorado home. It's sell my home. And I think it's a fantastic call to action that any realtor would really want to have.
What would you list it as an end price, Richard? What would you list it as an end price if you owned it?
As an end price? Realtors aren't known for digging deep in their pockets.
Right.
So that's the challenge.
Yeah.
Right. You're really you're buying it for an end user. I'm assuming was your friend an end user?
Yes, it's an end user.
Yeah, there you go. Out, yeah. That's why I'm quoting. That to me, that's the end user price. Like if we're buying this on the auction, then it's like 10 grand, 8 grand, 5 grand. Yeah. But yeah, that's the end user price. And if I was pricing it, I'd probably price it like 100, 120 because I don't see realtors digging deep and laying out 6 figures, even when they should be. But yeah, I can see this on a bus bench, sell my home, picture of me. Call me.
Maybe it'll be what is on the bench while you're waiting for the what are they called, the snowboard tram. You could try to sell some advertising spots while you're up there.
Exactly.
All right. Ammar, what do you envision?
Let's see. So while I think Richard has some good points, I think that's way too high. I don't think Larry paid anywhere near that. I'm going to go with 25K is what I think.
Okay,
We
25K.
should listen to this music a little longer. At least till we get to the chorus.
Video so I can tweet it because that's too good to miss.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to put this on YouTube now because of
So yeah, I'm going with 25K for a lot of the same reasons that Richard's talking about. I've never had great luck selling good real estate names to brokers. They just don't see value generally, even like fantastic names, right? So I do think it's a great name. I think your friend will do very well with it, Larry. I just, I can't imagine, but I mean, maybe you were able to convince him of the value. It also depends who the seller was.
Sure.
We're not supposed to be looking, but I'm going with 25.
Okay.
Thank you very much. John Wick, what are your thoughts?
25 sounds good. I don't know. It's a great name, but yeah, I don't see realtors spending that big. I don't think he's going to go as high as Richard's. I don't know. That just feels too high.
Okay. All right.
25.
So high.
25,001.
I just think you're all so high.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's my turn.
It is your turn. But
Okay.
first, I think you should introduce
I think
yourself.
y'all. Miel. This is Miel. We just adopted her last Sunday.
Oh.
Dude, that's John Wick's dog.
Are you coming
My
to
dog.
get it?
Yeah.
My puppy.
You don't even know how to get into my world, man. All right. So I think y'all are real high. I think so. Sell my house. What is it? Sell my home?
A home.
Sellmyhome.com implies, it's the person who owns the home who's who has the, is making the call to action to a broker. And so that model, as far as I know, does not currently exist. And so, like,
Well, that's just a listing.
buy my home,
Yeah.
Sell your home. Like, those are business models that currently exist in the real estate market. Sell my home does not exist. Posting my house to solicit a broker to come and bid against another broker to represent my home, that model doesn't exist. Maybe that's a huge opportunity,
Right.
but it doesn't exist today, and therefore it's not commercializable. And so I think Larry stole this for like $5,000, maybe $7,000. And I think that there is no retail value for it today because I think that model doesn't exist. But I think if that model did exist, and I think it could exist, and it might exist in the future, and it might totally displace a whole portion of the useless real estate broker market because, quite frankly, they should be competing against each other because none of them deserve 5 or 6%. They're all useless. So, so I think that there is an opportunity to do that, and that would be really cool. Get these guys to bid themselves down to 1%, and 2% or something, and that's a cool model. Maybe somebody should go build that business. Maybe that's what your buddy's going to build, but that doesn't exist. So the point is that I don't think maybe that's one that you take a punt, and so again, I think you bought it for like $5,000-7,000. I think that if I owned it and I'm pricing it for the end user, I think that end user doesn't exist today. And so I price it like on a punt, it's like, it's a 0 or it's 100. So I price it for like $250,000 just on the odd chance that guy with the dream to disrupt the real estate broker market like that comes in and says, this is the name. And, we bought lease-to-own.com. And I look at it like that. Like, I bought it for like, I don't know, $10,000 or something. And, I'm not sure it's worth much more than that until somebody comes in and says, like, we're going to create an entirely new market that's just lease to own. And then, that's the name. And then, maybe it is worth 150 or 250 or, or who knows. So, yeah, I think that's how I think about it.
Okay. You thought too much. What I'll say is my friend who is in the real estate market can't divulge his plans, but said to me, this is the name he wants. can I get it for 100K? He came in. And I go, end user price, most, yes, but that's not what you're going to pay. Ended up negotiating with the person. She was started at 60. It went down to 60. Ended up buying it for 30K. I mean, I would have actually hit her more, but he goes, enough already. I need the name. So boom. So,
yeah. Nice.
Well done.
Thank you.
So your friend was willing to pay up to 100K.
He was willing to pay 100K right from the start.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Usually that means if he's willing to pay 100K from the start, it usually means he's willing to spend more.
Right. No, I'm saying that's unusual.
Larry's friend also knows Larry and knows what Larry sells domains for. So he probably went in going, I got to pay a lot.
Well, Larry is also the guy that sold homesforsale.com and HFS.com together, right?
For a lot of money.
And I'm not going to, So, and that's for a lot of money. But I only say that because, Richard made the comment about, it being a 3word.com. But, some of those 3word.coms are worth a hell of a lot of money.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of money.
Hey, look, myworld.com was a 2-word name and we got 1.2 million for it. It really depends upon the end user and being able to, everyone says, hey, somebody could pay this for, and holds out. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. So, but that was that homes for sale. Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day, the sort of Rick Schwartz approach of like, if you have enough names, because it's hard to do on a small, thing, and I'm not sure what the scale needs to be, but if you have enough names and you just say, I'm going to just price, like you have cash flow coming from wherever, and you don't depend on the sales. I think it probably does make sense to just price them all at some stupid price that's based upon what is the price if somebody absolutely, not that they want it or it's the right name, but they need it, where there's a gun to their head. Because I was looking back the last 4 or 5 years, and we have on average about 2 sales per year where I look back and I can say that person needed that name and I undersold it probably a factor of 10. And it's usually big sales that I walked away from thinking, I was happy with. But in hindsight, it was that person had a gun to their head. And so if I had just said, this is the price and that's it, take it or leave it, and just, it's either a yes or a no, there's no negotiation here, I'm going to lose 99% of those sales. But I think if you have enough names, you're going to get the 1 or the 2 people a year who are going to come in that must buy, where it's a must have. And then I wonder what those economics look like, over time. It's probably better.
I think it depends, like you said, on if you depend on that income, right?
You can only do it if you don't need the income.
Like in Rick's case, he doesn't need the money, right? He doesn't have a huge portfolio. I think it's in the mid 5-figure range, right? So it's not, most people on this Zoom have more names than Rick does, right? But, sorry, mid 4-figure, not 5-figure, mid 4-figure number of names. But he doesn't need the money. So he can say that this is my number, and and he can just say, he just keeps saying no till it's the number he wants. Yeah. And I mean, he, I think, said not too long ago that he's now will not sell any name for under 6 figures. And these are names that we would probably sell for a couple of grand, right?
Or delete.
Yeah.
Or delete.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that's the missing thing though, is that, people evaluate that advice on the per name basis of, well, but why would you price that at 100 grand? And it has nothing to do with he thinks that name is worth 100 grand. It's about being consistent across every single name to ensure that you find the guy that needs the name.
Yeah.
Even if you're losing the other sales.
And he can truly say no with no concern, because he doesn't need the money. And so it's just, he can just keep saying no, and he's not bluffing. He's just saying no.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think that we have to be careful with the advice we dispense, because Not everybody out there is in that position. And I would say most people aren't in that position, right?
Yeah.
So they have to look at it from a different lens and a different business perspective, and you have to do what's best for your business. And most cases, that means selling at a reasonable price and reinvest. Right?
Yeah. I think that's also another good point on that, is just that it also depends on whether or not you are continuing to buy more names. So if you think you can replace the names you're selling, then maybe it makes sense to keep selling and keep replacing with more names. And if you're done buying, or you don't feel that there's opportunities better than the opportunities you have in your portfolio, then, you take a different approach.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of the time and expertise you want to invest. The time to develop your expertise, the time to look for a domain to replace it, or if it's easier for you, your lifestyle, your other investments, to just hold it and move on. There's a lot that goes into it. Well, congratulations on a great acquisition and a great friendship. Well done. All right, Richard, you are up next. What's a domain that you bought or sold lately?
Okay, this plays right into what Andrew was saying, because most of the domains that I own are priced on Buy It Now, and they just sell. Sometimes the first time I remember a name or see a name is that because I purchased it as a large portfolio purchase. Is when I see the notice from GoDaddy or Afternic or Uniregistry saying, "Hey, this name has been sold," and I'm like, "Damn, that was underpriced," or "Hey, that's a pretty good price for a two-word .com." So one of them, actually, I got a couple, but these are all sold on Buy It Now pricing. One's a four-letter .com. rpgo.com. Do we just name the price, or do we do like a little Price is Right?
We do the Price is Right. So you say the domain now, everybody, and you said if it's a buy or a sell, and that's it. And then
no one's allowed to type it in because it's still sitting on the Buy It Now page. So if you type it in, then you'll see what the price.
Okay, yeah, no one's allowed to do any research, and then everybody just guesses. So this is always good. John Wick, stop typing. Okay, so Ammar, why don't you guess first?
So it's a buy now, so I'm going to say 98.88.
Oh, that was going to be the price I said.
Well, I think it's only reasonable that the Shroom King over there and Dirk Diggler are
aligned.
Dirk Diggler.
All right, John Wick, what do you guess?
A four-letter, 5,000.
Okay, 5,000.
It's I'm guessing, Richard's probably having some sort of automation to his pricing and looking at probably averages and just going off of that. I will say though that RP Go, just having that Go at the end, and RP being pretty decent acronym for multiple businesses, it could sell for more. But I'm going to say that it's probably one of those names where he's like, damn, I could have got a little bit more out of that one. But $4 or $5 grand's kind of the average, I think, for like an okay four-letter.
Okay.
Nothing to be sneezing at. How's that?
Yeah, true. And I know A at the end for association, O at the end for org, even though it could also be the Go. It has some extra benefits.
Role player game.
Yeah.
We're not into role playing, are we?
Role playing games online.
All
right, so who's up?
Larry.
It's me. I'm going a little higher. only because he just threw it up there and see what happens. I'll go for about.
Somebody just say, let's get higher.
I'll go for 15K.
15K, going big. All right, tell us the details.
All right, so Adam is right on the nose. So basically,
wait, I didn't even get to guess.
You said you were aligned.
Yeah, but I can't be aligned. We have to have. It doesn't matter. That's where I was. That's what I thought anyway. So.
Actually, can I go back? That's what I thought too.
Whatever Richard says is the exact number is what I said.
Well, I think based on the costumes, Drew is voted most likely to actually be able to go back in time.
Well, so basically,
wait, you guys can't?
At least I think.
With what Andrew said earlier, I've got some domains that I price where I'm like, these names are what people are going to have to pay if they absolutely have to have the name. Because I look back on some of the names that I let go over the years, and I regret the sale of those. And so I'm like, okay, well, you know what? When it comes down to the diamonds that I have, if you want that name, you're going to have to pay for it. Otherwise, I'm going to develop a business around it. And so, hockey.com, rides.com, short.com, face.com. If you want those names, it has to be life-changing money for me. Otherwise, I'm happy to sit on them until I'm dead. I don't really,
And that life-changing number keeps moving.
Exactly, right? Exactly. I've seen that in action in terms of that pricing model where you come to me, the price is X dollars today. You come to me in a year from now, the price has gone up. You come to me a year from now, that price has gone up. So on those names, the price goes up every single year. Mm-hmm. But on the other names, I'm just like, I use an algorithm, price it, see if it goes. And yeah, most of the time I'm probably leaving money on the table, but it's about cash flow. So, RP Go or RPGO, I didn't even think about the role-playing Go, and then marketing it out or getting a broker. It's just priced right now. Honestly, I forgot I even owned it until I got the notice. And that's the case on it's about 4,000 names that are priced to buy it now. Ask me to name one. Honestly, I couldn't. I'd just be guessing. But on the ones that are life-changing money, those I know, like the back of my hand. And maybe I'll sell another. I've sold them. I've sold 3 for life-changing money. And that's why I'm sitting here in Whistler as a skier.
Dumb question, Richard. Dumb question. Did you sold 3 for life-saving money? How many lives have you had?
Yeah.
Right? I'm a cat, so I'm hoping for 9 lives.
I like it.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Richard. So what's your sell-through rate on names like that? Like if, I think that if you didn't have that price to buy it now, you probably could have squeezed a little bit more out of it. So, you've got guys in the industry that price everything at buy it now and are just more concerned with churning those names through than what Drew and Ammar and I were just getting. Larry. But, like you could have squeezed more out of that. Is that like kind of a group consensus?
Yeah. For $5,000.
Great question.
Yeah. Particularly right now, I think actually we've seen sort of a step. What do you call that? Step change in good 4-letter.com pricing. I'm not even talking really at the wholesale market, but even there, it's like I'm seeing GoDaddy auctions. If there's a 4-letter, I don't buy many anymore. But when I see like a really good one, like RP Go, so it's really just 4 really good letters that forget the rules, but just. You say, boy, that makes a great domain name for somebody's business. Whenever I see one that I say, that's a great 4-letter, I'm going to participate. It ends up going above $2,000, and I'll bid those up to $1,000, $1,200, something really unique, maybe $1,500. But these things have been going above $2,000 in the ones that I've been getting into at the wholesale. That's at GoDaddy, right? So, we've been pricing our 4 letters at basically kind of mediocre ones at I try not to buy crappy ones. I don't think we have too many that are like just crap letters, but like, you know, mediocre ones, no traffic or anything, you know, maybe it's like 4,888, you know, but most of them are 9,888 or 15, or if it's something really good, 25, you know, really good, but no direct meaning.
So do you think that by pricing those names, like, I mean, I'm going to guess, Richard, your sale through rate's pretty decent. Like, do you think he's, you know what I mean? Like he's sacrificing that extra $5,000 that he could have got?
Well, you got to look at the big picture, because if he prices all of them, let's say he goes from 49.88 to 98.88, right? He's going to sell a lot less, a lot fewer names, most likely. But the question is, does he sell anywhere north of 50% of the names? So if he sells 60% of the names at 98.88, he's better off doing that, because he's keeping inventory and selling and getting more cash, right? But if he's selling less than 50% of the number of names, then it really comes down to a cash flow situation and a cash flow calculation.
Right. I mean, I think I'm guessing at the volume he's got, it's just not a game worth playing to make offer on everything and just negotiate everything.
Oh yeah, you can't. It would be a waste of his time to make offer on everything. I think you got to price those kind of names. The question is at what price point, from my perspective.
Yeah, and I think, really break it down even further and just break it down to time and just say like, okay, so, auto pricing those, if it would have sold for 10 instead of 5, but he would have sold 25% less names, it's got to just call it a 25% incremental increase in his cash flow, regardless of, the fact that he's still, he'll have more domains still in the portfolio. But the amount of time to do that is like, exponential, and it's a small step increase for Richard in Richard's situation, versus let me spend my time just making sure that I don't let go of the diamonds for, some really, really high price, because, you can cover 20 years of 25% incremental increases in your 4letter.com portfolio, in one diamond sale, right? So, I think that's probably the biggest mistake I've made over the last decade is I've spent too much time micromanaging small domain names, and I should have just been pricing them in bulk and letting them sell by it now at bottom 80% and just
Yeah, but you just talked about you're saying two different things here. You just talked about like milking everything you can out of a domain.
Well, what I'm saying, hold on. I haven't recommended either strategy. What I've said is it's interesting to think about, Rick. I was thinking about the Rick strategy.
I'm with you, man, 100%.
Well, I like the hybrid. I think Richard's got the hybrid right. It's all the smaller stuff. Like if it's not going to create, if there's no chance it's going to create, life-changing money, then just treat it as inventory, price it, and let people come and buy it or not.
Yeah.
And then if it's something that's unique and irreplaceable, then, tuck it away and let somebody force it out of your hands.
Yeah. Everybody has an 80-20 in their portfolio, right? Mm-hmm. You've got those names that are the ones that you do leave at make offer or not price or whatever. But my biggest hangup has always been the tsunami name is what I call it. It's like the name that comes out of nowhere, the cam roulette, that you get $151,000 for, right, Richard? So when those come, you can't have a 488 price tag on it, 49.88 or whatever. You've got to be ready for it. So I guess that's
100%.
But that's part of the risk, right? That's part of the game you in order
you get the 151, you guys all take the 1,200. Right?
But how many sales did you leave on the table by not pricing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, for our audience in particular, it's important to note that hustle and taking all that time and pricing at different amounts is important when you're first learning about domains. And also maybe leaving a little money on the table, but maximizing your amount of sales is important to learn how transactions go, to have more capital for you if that's part of your building strategy. But I think more than anything, what I heard from you, Drew, is the idea of pick a time frame, whether it's every 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, to readjust your strategy. Just because the strategy worked for you when you were at this level, your goal is to get to a higher level. Don't forget to readjust how you spend your time and what domains you invest on before then.
I think that's a mistake that I definitely made, is not going through and readjusting the pricing to taking another look, see what trends are going on. Like labreports.com, we sold at a buy it now price that was way too low. In light of COVID, and
I got called with my pants down on facemask.com.
Right.
Wow.
Jeez. Right.
Would you have
I was reading this the blog by Abdul Bassett, and he was doing an After Deck experiment over the last 6 or 7 months, and he's the kind of guy that should be like, if I was younger, I'd be doing exactly what he's doing and spending that time and going through. But I've sold a few diamonds, and I'm working on logo.com. So my domain portfolio, my main concern is, covering the renewal fees on the 4,000 names. So, I just I don't have that time to spend to squeeze it out. But at the same time, I want to cover the renewal fees, because, 4,000 domains is a lot of names to pay renewals on. So when people are like, oh, damn, I'm paying you $1,000 for this domain, it's like, dude, I'm not making any money, right? You're just helping me cover my renewal fees and leaving you the opportunity to buy this name. So yeah, I definitely could be squeezing more out, but really I've got it on autopilot. So Adam was right on the nose in terms of, I just use algorithms, price it, forget about it, and spend my time working on building businesses. I did that with resume.com, sold it. Now I'm doing that with logo.com. It's going to take 5 years, and in the meantime, I just let them run. And I definitely get some of these emails now. Lab reports for $5,000. That's a $50,000 name. C'est la vie.
Yeah, exactly. Worse things have happened.
Sure.
Yeah, especially this year. Very true. Yeah. All right. Ammar, you're next. What'd you buy or sell lately?
I bought a lot, but let's talk about sales. We'll do in the 3-word vein. I have actually 2 3-word sales .coms, but we'll go with the bigger one. One was underwhelming. So, and this one's not huge, but Flesh.
Is that something you're used to?
Fleshandblood.com.
Fleshandblood.com. You sold that or you bought it?
I sold it.
Thank God.
Wow. Fleshandblood.com.
Wow.
Interesting.
I mean, what can that be? Like a movie, I guess.
It's not like family, your flesh and blood.
Flesh and blood, yeah, but it's a little, it's not going to be like the next ancestor.com.
No, a video game. Like I see.
Yeah, video game, movie, flesh and blood. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
For organ donor.
I think that's for the same reason Ammar did.
Hi, come by.
So who's up?
Drew, you're up. You're talking. You're up.
Fleshandblood.com. Ammar. $15,000.
All right, 15,000. Larry, what do you think?
Well, in many parts of the world, you can buy organs illegally, and I figure that's probably what this site is. And kidneys run around 75K, so I'm going to say 25K.
Oh. They're taking a 6% rip.
25K.
25K. All right, based on your intimate knowledge of the kidney market.
Exactly.
All right. Richard?
You know what? 3-word. I think it's like a movie. I'm going to go 12K. 12.5.
It sounds like it could be a movie, but those movie studios, they never pay for domains. Has anyone ever sold them a domain? Yeah.
No. Disney didn't even buy Frozen from us. They're like, nah. I was like, this is a multi-billion-dollar foundation, and they, a franchise, a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Like, why? I was going to even let them have it at like a cheap price. I stole it. I got that name for nothing. And I was like, here, go ahead. And they were like, no, we're not interested.
I mean, it could be someone who's not involved in the movie, but they see it as, okay, well, if it's a movie and it's going to be streamed online, then it's someone types it in and then, signs up to the streaming service. And so then there's a commission base. So I can see someone who's not in it, but is connected in the affiliate space on video streaming, wanting to buy it as well. So,
okay. All right. Adam, did you have something you were going to say?
I sold a name to Disney. I mean, you were asking about, but it was, I don't think it ever became anything. It just sits in their portfolio now. So 25, 30 grand, something along those lines.
Can you say what the domain was?
I don't believe so.
Can you say, was it a movie? Or?
It was not a movie. It was a name that would have sounded like a series or it could have been used for a movie. But
so they were kind of like locking something up. Maybe they would use someday.
Yeah, it was a really interesting angle. They negotiated through like a very private way, and so I was trying to out who they were, and they gave me, and I said I needed to send some paperwork to them, and I asked for an address, and they wouldn't give me an address, and then they gave me a fax number to send the paperwork to. This was like really early domain days. And anyway, so I managed to trace it to, somehow I traced it back to California, and I had a friend that was in LA, and he went there, and he's like, dude, this is in South Central, and it's a warehouse. It's like, there's nothing here. And so anyway, I just they had negotiated it up to like the 25, 30K range. And it wasn't that good of a name. If I told you the name, you'd be like, you did really well. But there were no trademarks. There was nothing that would signify that it was a big buyer other than I just kept pushing it up. And it turns out the day after I transferred the name, the trademark database showed up with like thousands of trademarks on this town for like everything, for like backpacks and, lunch boxes and straws and like clothes, all this stuff.
They've got some inside person, they file so many trademarks. They're probably like, look, just put a stone on this file until
we get the domain.
Give you a green light.
Well, if you've ever heard the story about how they bought up Orlando real estate, it's kind of reminded me of that. They had multiple lawyers, doing multiple transactions, and nobody knew that it was Disney that was buying all that property. So, I mean, they know their way around, purchases. So, but anyway, that's totally
that's an understatement.
Yeah. So, but anyway, you asked. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing the story as much as you could. So Drew, I think, did you actually get to commit to a price?
Oh, I didn't do my price.
I know you're next, but I'm not sure if I cut through what you had to say about Disney.
Yeah, Drew said.
Yeah, I was the first one. I said 5.
Oh, that's right.
What did I say?
Yeah, you said 15K.
I didn't remember what the domain was.
Drew, I think you
mushrooms.
Eat my flesh.
You can just lick your.
Yeah, blood and flesh and blood. Hey, calm down.
Okay, Adam, what do you think? What's your number?
20,001 or 25,001.
Whoa.
Okay, did everybody get to go?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, fleshandblood.com. I'm more interested in who the owner is and what they're going to do with it than, but I totally want to see you jam. Jam, baby, jam.
So I've had the name for over 10 years, and it's only gotten a couple of inquiries because I think it's a great name. But I ended up selling it for 19K.
Oh,
19.
Nice.
It's a pretty good number for considering how little interest it gets. And like Drew said, I think it either has to be a movie or a game or something. It's not like.
Okay.
I'm done. 19K.
Nice.
How did you come to 19K? And do you hire it?
It sold through uni, and I think I started at 25, maybe. I don't even remember. It was either 25 or 50. That's a name I would price either at 25 or 50. And I wanted more. I really did, because I love the name. But at some point you have to be smart, and you have to look back and you say, okay, this name, I've had it for over 10 years, gotten very little interest. And the uses are limited, right? So but I still love the name. And, so it's one of those things. It's like, you can love it and hold it, or you can, sell it. So, so I was happy with the 19K. I wanted more, but, and I think it worked out. I think it's good all around. I think it's a fair deal for everybody.
Yeah, good for you. That's very nice. Congrats. All right, Drew, you're up next. What'd you buy or sell lately?
All right. I bought lookalike.com.
Ooh, I like it.
Lookalike.com.
I have one question. Would you consider that a one word or a two word?
I was questioning myself, but it is a one word, in fact.
Yeah, it's one word. I mean,
it's actually one word. It is one word.
Okay, lookalike.com. Hey, Juan Valdez, look alive.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like most people, when Drew speaks, I fall asleep.
Oh!
It's siesta time.
So what do you think, Larry, that he bought or sold it for?
Oh, knowing Drew.
Oh, I mean bought it for. I'm just in my world.
Yeah, knowing Drew, definitely in the five figures, maybe 25K, somewhere in that range, I think. Because it's actually a good name that I'd price in the low six figures, maybe into mid, actually 250 to 400. So hope you got it for 25.
Okay, nice. Love the new background, Richard. It's getting chilly up there. What do you think on the price?
I think Andrew is a really sharp buyer. I bet he got it down below that. I think he paid a little more than 10. I think he paid 11,000.
Okay. What do you think, Ammar?
So, yes, Andrew's a sharp guy, but he's also not afraid to pay up when he likes a name. So I'm going with 20.
Okay. All right. What do you think, Mr. And 1 cent?
Yeah. Is it the plural or the singular?
Singular.
Look-alike, singular.
Look-alike.
Like Facebook's look-alike audience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was kind of a hint.
Yeah. That's on the sell side.
25 and 1.
25 and 1. You're sticking with your overs. I like it. All right. So this is a lot more than just somebody being a twin.
So what do we got? Is everybody covered?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Y'all so high. I bought that thing for $6,000.
What?
But I actually agree with Larry. I think it's literally like $500,000 domain name. Maybe 250 to 500, but I think it's a mid six-figure domain name. It's literally the number one product that Facebook sells, for example. So when I bought it, I was like, look-alike. All right, well, you got all this like face, technology, recognition technology, and look-alike is going to be like a big deal. And actually, I was thinking about richardsface.com, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
When I bought it, that was like the name that I was thinking about. Was like, what are the implications? And it's about facial recognition and all this stuff. But then I started Googling lookalikes. I wanted to figure out if it was one word or two. And what kept coming up was this: Facebook has this, advertised to a lookalike audience. Well, I want to sell to the same audience that Chanel does. so I can get a lookalike audience, and it's the number one advertising product from Facebook, number one. Mm-hmm. So then you start looking out there, and there's like a ton of products from, you name it, like every, you've got lookalike investment funds, you've got lookalike, all different kinds of stuff. So anyways, I agree. When it came across my desk, I was like, ooh, that's kind of a cool name, lookalike. It's fun. And I think because it was already priced low, I didn't immediately approach it with these big ideas. I was like, oh, that kind of money seems like a good name to have. I'll take it. And then, I think we negotiated a little bit. And then I looked into it and I'm like, whoa, hold on. This is a serious name. So yeah, I think that was one of the better buys of the year.
Yeah, that's a great buy.
I think so too. And I think whoever said that's on the sell side, I disagree with, because you make money on the buy. And a name like that is going to have a different meaning than what everyone thinks of right off the bat, mm-hmm. or is an investor who hasn't done a lot of research. Ooh la la. That's nice.
Great deal.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good job, Andrew.
Well done. 6K. And
real quick, was that brought to you by a broker, or was that?
It was brought to me by not a broker, one of these guys that's out there spamming the world, finding domain names, okay. And then they go out and go out. But half the time, the same guy that brought me this domain, to be honest with you, sends me 20, 30 emails a day on my own names. I just don't reply.
You don't tell him you'll take it?
Well, I used to tell him to go fuck himself, but then, it was like, wait a minute, actually, sometimes this guy shows up with some good domains. So it was like, yeah, I'll let you spam me. Just bring me the good stuff when you find it.
I have to ask, aren't you concerned about that devaluing your domains if he's doing that with presenting your domains to other people? Or
if I can buy lookalike.com for $6,000, that's all, everything else doesn't matter.
Yeah. And probably
it all worked out.
That's okay.
If I could buy one of those every day, everything else wouldn't matter.
Well, yeah, that's not gonna.
Now, do you feel like you had transparency there, or do you know?
I don't know. No. So I think that's actually one of the biggest. I think that's one of the biggest holdups people have, and there's different ways to look at this, right? Some people are gonna be appalled, but I kind of just look at it as it's none of my business. This dude's showing up. He's telling me what the price is. This was not an idea that was in my head before he showed up today. I'm not even going to go there, because I'm 99% of the time, I'm going to lose this deal. If I try and go around the guy, or I say, oh, you guys never, you showed up, you brought me a domain, it's at a good price. I'm sure you're making something. That's great. I feel like I'm getting a good value. I'll take it, because I don't want you to go to the next guy, because when you contact Ammar, I know he'll take it. And Adam will take it too. Larry, he'll try to nickel and dime you. But so I don't want to look in his wallet.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fair enough. Good buy for sure.
I will say, every once in a while, like there's several of these people that bring me domains, and every once in a while I'll do a little gut check, a little pushback, just to, make sure things stay on the up and up. But for the most part, look, you bring me a name, I'm gonna judge it on whether I think it's worth and what I'm willing to pay, and do it or not.
Yeah. All right. I totally messed the order up. I don't think you guys care. Adam, what'd you buy or sell lately?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time coming up with something here. I've been doing some buying, and after hearing Drew's purchase price, I feel a little deflated.
Well, I usually overpay. Usually I'm overpaying, but once in a while it pays off.
I've been buying on GoDaddy and on Dropcatch here and there, and I've been purchasing kind of like Ammar, or just buying. I don't know, probably overpaying though. But I have gotten a lot of 2-word names lately. I'm gonna go with the 4-letter though that I just picked up recently. It's a 4-letter. The reason I'm picking it is because of Richard's sale. The name is HONQ.
Honk. 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 Honk.
HONQ. And you bought it.
Yeah, I bought it.
Okay. Then Richard, you get to guess first.
Okay, well, Adam is a savvy buyer, and he's going to
I just got done
that.
telling you I'm not.
No, but you are. You're going to price that between 5 and 10. It's a brandable honk, but it doesn't pass the radio test. You're gonna have to say honk with a Q. I think you bought it for $1,500.
Okay. Larry, I love your updated background.
That's actually a picture I took in Victoria Falls.
Oh.
Yeah. So just trying to remember of the days when you could travel.
Larry, you missed your true calling as an actor. I really believe that.
Who says I'm not acting
He's
now?
too tall.
Hey, if that's what's at the end of the rainbow, I don't want to be there.
Speaking for John Wick.
Yeah, I actually, maybe this isn't unique, but for me it was. I actually got to the end of the rainbow, like straight up, not even playing. I was in South Africa. I was in Cape Town, South Africa, and we were down at the little bay, and we're like looking at the seals, and all of a sudden there's a freaking rainbow ending literally in front of us. Like, my wife will verify this. Straight up, I was like, that's the end of the rainbow. And I was like, have you ever seen the end of the rainbow? No, I was like, as a kid, I was like, you go to the end of the rainbow, you find a pot of gold. You can't go there. You can't get there. I don't know why, but you can't get there. End of the rainbow happened right in front of my face.
Is that why she asked me about what
True story.
were?
Wait, Drew, basically it's all downhill from here, though. You have nothing.
Well, I mean, that was literally the last trip I took before COVID. So yes, that's true. It was all downhill since then.
Does that make you the leprechaun?
It does today.
It's an interesting thought.
Gee, funny how quickly Adam just acquired that prop.
That was a pencil cat.
Yeah, sure it was.
Hey, I forgot the name we're doing.
Honk.
No, it's honk. Honk with a Q, which I think is really cute for tech.
And what he bought it for, I'd say he bought it for $2,000.
Okay, so you're both pretty low.
Yeah, only because he's buying it. So
okay, Ammar.
So I like the name, and I'd price it at 25 plus for sure. I would. It doesn't. To Richard's point, it doesn't pass the radio test, but it's short and it's just one letter off. Super Qs are pretty brandable. I would say he paid. I'm going to say $3,500.
Okay, and just for our audience, you would price it at 25,000. Yes.
Plus.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure in case people are taking notes and they think you meant 25.
Wait, what was the domain?
25,001.
HONQ.
HONQ.
Oh yeah.
All right, Drew. What do you think the price was?
See, it just goes to show you, try to get cute in these things, and then nobody remembers them. Okay.
Hey.
You don't really have the same credibility as usual, Drew.
What? I mean, I would say I should have more credibility.
I agree. I believe him. I believe him more now.
I'm just going to put it out there, but I trust myself in this condition. So I'll take $28,000. Wait, this is a buy?
Buy.
Buy.
Why? $4.50.
$1,758.
All right, specific. Okay. Name your price, yo.
$28.61.
What'd you say, Ammar?
I said 3K.
Adam, quick question. What are you pricing it at?
Just review. I bought it because I was looking at the brandable websites, and I thought I'd experiment in the brandable space a little bit. I have some brandable domains that I just haven't done anything with, haven't listed at Brand Bucket, haven't listed at Squad Help or any of these sites. Thought I'd kind of do a little bit of an experiment there. And then this one came up, saw it on auction, and thought, well, and did some research on the 4 letters that are in that realm at those Brand Bucket and Squad Help. So I'm thinking probably in the at least 25. I think 50 might be aggressive, but maybe that's where I start and then chip away. As far as I know, Brand Bucket, listening to Margot was on a podcast recently. I think they do the pricing for you kind of thing. Like you won't get on there unless you accept their price. So I'll slap it up there and see what they say. But I was thinking at least 10x. I think I was stopped at 25 on my bid, and then I just happened to be around when on my proxy. I think I just happened to be around when it was ending, and I was pissed that I didn't get it, so I just kept pushing it up. So anyway,
you'll be fine on that. That's a good name.
Let me know. I'm just curious if the experiment works, because I've never used Brand Bucket or Squad Help myself, so I'm just curious too.
Yeah,
I'm always so skeptical. I mean, look, I see the value, and I guess they probably do have some degree of customer base that comes in saying, Squad Help probably more than others, looking for assistance in coming up with a brand. But I still believe that 80% or more of domain sales happen to people that already thought of what the domain is, and they go to the domain, and then doesn't matter where it's landing, doesn't matter who your landing page is, I just think most of those factors, and I'm sure Huge Domains, I guess, is going to know more than anybody else, but and I think they're even experimenting with GoDaddy landing pages now and different stuff, but you've worked with buyers. You've worked with buyers.
Yeah. Have you worked with buyers that have no clue? I mean, we get a lot of buyers that come to us, have no idea.
But only at the ultra high end, right? Somebody comes in with a lot of money to spend. They say, we want to get the best name for the budget we've got. But for the most part, I don't know.
I don't know, because at some of the people that we work with, we've crossed paths. But what I'm seeing is on the buy side is they come in, they have no idea what they want. The podcast I listened to was on Josh's podcast, and it was Margot talking. And one of the things she talked about that I thought was really interesting, and it was a good way of looking at it, was people don't know what they want until they see it. Like Richard, you do logos. How many logo designs do people get? Nah, that's not what I want. No.
But that's aesthetic, right? That's aesthetic.
It's also names, dude. And you come up with a name and somebody sees it and goes, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you to a certain extent that there's a person that wants a specific name or wants super high end,
What do you think is that? Because again, it's kind of like the same problem we were talking about with Richard and saying, how many of the names, is it worth putting a buy now price, and how many are worth, negotiating yourself and pricing in the moment. And, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, what percentage of the name, what percentage of the names sold are people who already had determined what the name was they wanted versus people that come into, say, a Brand Bucket or a Squad Help and say, like we just sold, it'll probably show up next week on Squad Help. We just sold a name for $25,000 that happened to be on Squad Help, but we were hired by a buyer to come in and buy that name. I couldn't figure out who the owner was, so we bought it with the help of Squad Help, right? But that wasn't, it didn't, and not to pick on Squad Help, they did an amazing job. It was great to work with them. I had no qualms, just trying to outline intent. And so that buyer was going to buy that name, whether it was on Sato or Squad Help or in my marketplace, or it was on Evergreen, or doesn't matter where it was.
Look how dumb they are, though. They could have bought it themselves, and you know what I mean? Like that. I mean, you've had buyers that have come to you and said, hey, can you see about this name? And it's literally listed on huge domains for $2,500. And you're like,
yeah.
Just why didn't you just go freaking type it in and buy it?
You know what though? You know what though?
Sure, I'll do that for you.
I used to be like, that's kind of ridiculous. Why don't you just click the buy button and put in a credit card?
And I know
right? And then the thing is like they don't even want to deal with it. So it's like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
And what do they care? Like, you're like, all right, so pay me 10% extra.
So there's only, I think there's only a fraction of people that are that kind of person. Like that's the executive that just doesn't have time, and you're their domain guy. Just like they have a person to do their laundry and a person.
But my role in that was irrelevant. That's my point. My role in that was irrelevant. So my point was that guy, he came in knowing he wanted that name. He didn't come into Squad Help, do a search, and said, oh, this was the name I want. It was just, this was the name they wanted. And so they bought it. And we just happened to be the guy in the middle. But like, the point is just about the intent of the buyer. It wasn't, they weren't searching for a name. And so I'm just curious, and I could be flat wrong. I'm just curious about what percentage of domains sold was the buyer already dead set on that particular name versus they were looking for name creation ideas.
Right, then I want to invite Margot on the show and talk to her about that and whatever else. What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be a great show.
Yeah, great. Yeah. I'm not sure that she would know, right? Because how do you differentiate? Like how unless other than the fact that I happened to be in the middle, which, as Adam said, was irrelevant, how would Squad Help know whether that buyer came in, for that name
based on how they search, if they make multiple offers, if they do any, surveys or have any relationships, if they track their sellers.
Yeah, maybe Squad Help more so because they have the contests and the stuff like
in the marketplace though, like in the marketplace there's not a whole lot. Like if you're coming in hot and the name that you want, right, it's either yes or no. It's black or white.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people just look at it and go, okay, well, it's not in use, so that means that's still a yes, right? Mm-hmm. Some people look at it and go, it's not in use, there's nothing there, that's a no, right? And then they're done and they go look for something else. I think there's like this huge. Because look at all the marketplaces. Like if you go to a marketplace right now, let's say I wanted to start an app for bereavement of my animal, right? Whatever. You can't search for that. There's no tools or anything out there. What are you going to type in? Dog bereavement? It's going to come up with, it's going to be searching the exact words. It's not going to come up with
bereaved.com.
What's that?
I have bereaved.com if you want.
Bereaved.com. But anyway, the tools aren't out there. So like, I think that there's a place for improvement on that. But I think a lot of people come in hot. They know what they want. It's not available. Then they're just stuck.
Well, and so this is what I was trying to say is that I agree that most people know the name they want or think they know the name they want. Then they go looking for it, and either it's not available because it's in use, or it's priced beyond what they can afford. So then I think the next step is they start looking around for naming help. And I believe both Squad Help, especially Squad Help, but I'm pretty sure Brand Bucket as well, they do pretty well in the search engines for how to name your startup or how to name your company or whatever. And so I think that they get probably a fair amount of traffic from there, where people are looking for help in naming. And then it goes exactly to what you just said, Adam, earlier, which is once I see it, I know it, right? So it may not have been the one they were looking for, to Drew's point, like, because they knew what they wanted, but they couldn't get the one they wanted. So now what? Now I got to go find something. And then that's where I agree that sometimes it just takes seeing it there. And they do a pretty good job presenting the names there. Then and then sometimes that's what it takes.
And I think this is all true for current behaviors. I think we should wrap it up, but don't I get to get the last word? I think that there's also the way it should be, and how I hope each of us are contributing to change the market. And that is, they usually could really benefit from consultation from a domain name expert before making a purchase. You know, I know in the Michael Saylor interview, he said, and I want that clip in particular, he said something about like marketing brands. Basically, they are marketing, when you bring in a marketing team for advice on a brand, they leave out the domain name component, and that's just garbage service. And I think that is key to growing our industry. And it's key for any company who knows enough to do that is the one poised for better online success. Anyway, let's take a quick moment from our sponsors who support us in educating the domain name industry. Media Options is the industry-leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, Media Options offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. Media Options believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you. Thanks. So we're going to go to the NameJet list. We have been on this show for a while, but let's take some time to look over this list. This section is sponsored by NameJet. We're reviewing domains heading to auction soon. For transparency, is anyone selling or brokering any of the names on this list?
No.
Cool. All right. So
for expediency, maybe everybody picks one they like, one they don't.
I like it. All right. You want to go first, Drew?
Sure. Okay. So I really like Scotch. I think Scotch.org is just a great name. I mean, you know, for an association of Scotch makers, which I'm sure is a thing and I'm sure has a lot of money, that would be like the name. And I just like it. I love short, great, pingy, you know, punch above their weight.orgs. And I think Scotch.org meets that description. I love that name.
All right.
And then name I don't like, there's nothing on here I hate. Maybe Web Experts because it's missing an E. So Web X and then Perts, that's a toss away for me. Although it's registered in a bunch of, you know, TLDs, so who knows? There's probably a bunch of other people. Maybe there's somebody who wants to upgrade, but I wouldn't buy that name.
Okay. Thanks. Adam, how about you?
Yeah, I think there's a good list here. Nothing's like really standing out like a super, like I would really want to have that one. I like Crier as a brand for maybe news type of thing. I like Premix. I like Court Reporter. Court Reporter used to be a career where people were going online to look on how to be a court reporter. I don't know if that's still a thing. So I'd have to investigate that a little bit. Game Key is the one that kind of stands out to me, like what I would bid on. I may chase after that one. I kind of see that as maybe some sort of hardware type of thing that, you know, you could use to enhance a game or a site that helps you get better at a game. I just think gaming online is a pretty big industry, and I think that's the one I would buy if I was going after any of them. But pretty solid list. I mean, I should say solid list, but kind of in that 2 to 5K range across the board, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Ammar?
I think it's actually a really great list. And there's a few on here that are probably going to fly under the radar, although not after the show. But I like WindVane a lot as a brand, and for, you know, wind energy company, you know, alternative energies are only going to go up from here. So I think that's a great brand for that. I'll be bidding on that. Court reporter. So the reason I like that one is because courts aren't going away, but humans are. So pretty sure that court reporters are probably going to be.
And on that note,
court reporters are probably going to be replaced with technology, and so that what better name for that technology than courtreporter.com. So I think that's a sleeper name there. And like Drew, the only name on here I would not, well, I don't like Fish Online really either, but Fish Online and Web Experts are probably the two names I wouldn't want to own. Every other name on here I think has potential.
Have you ever met a domain you didn't like?
Those two right there. I would not bid on those two. I wouldn't touch those, but the others are good. It's a good list.
Okay, thanks. Richard?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Like the name to drop off this list is Web Experts. You're just going to be saying that over and over. There's no E. I disagree with Ammar on Fish Online. I think that to me, there's multiple uses for that, whether it's getting your fish license online or whether it's for buying fish online and having it delivered to your home. And that way, you could be I could see Fish Online being the Amazon of fish, because, you go down to your local mall, which you may not want to do anymore with COVID, and they're going to have a limited selection, but you want this specific type of fish that, is grown by some guy in Arizona, and you go to Fish Online.
Would you build a store around that?
No, but I'd buy it.
I don't like the name for myself. I would never use it, but yes, it'll sell. Online names sell. I just don't like them.
Right. Okay. So I'm saying that you can buy that for 2 and list it for 20. So, the other ones I like, Court Reporter, City Car, I think is a great brandable for autonomous taxi. So that's something you buy now and you hold for 20 years and then you sell it for $250,000. But yeah, there's almost every name on here is like a name I've never met a domain I don't like, except for Web Experts. I'd be like, I'm not taking your hand. The other one I really like is emergency.org. I think we're going to have more and more emergencies, and everything needs to be handled online. All of your kids, emergency contact information, whether it's 2-factor authenticated, but everything needs to be compiled to a central database. So if you don't want to deal with, emergencydaytona.info, you want your school, if they're asking for your child's emergency contact info, and you're like, okay, well, I don't want to just give it to you. You're like, no, we're going to have a third party. It's run by emergency.org. That's a fantastic brandable. So I think that's got value there. I don't think I'd pay $16K for it, but I think you could pick it up for $5 and then sit on it. And some guy's going to come along and pay you $50, or, do a partnership or a lease to own.
That's my favorite name on the list for in terms of like what could be built into the biggest brand. Mm-hmm. I remember too, there was like for years at GoDaddy, they would send us like once a year an emergency preparedness like chart or something. And it had all these things. And I was like, this should be an app with a checklist of, have you told your kids if there's no cell phone, where to meet, and, like all these things for like severe emergencies, or what should you have in your house, the water, the canned food, how often should you change it? You get an alert once a year to change out your water or your canned food every 3 years, or I don't know, whatever. I think that could be built into something enormous, and especially right around now, I think people would be pretty open to it. All right, Larry, you're muted. We don't want to hear you anyway.
That's true. The one that drew me to the list right away was emergency.org. I love .orgs, in some instances more than .coms. But I will say emergency.org, for the reasons that you and Richard mentioned, is why I think it's a really good name. Again, you have to have someone behind you to build it, and there's a lot of work involved in that. But I think what was mentioned would be a good use for that name. The other names that pop into my mind when I see this, I like Crier, I like Court Reporter. The one that everyone's afraid to talk about is Sex Tutor, but I don't, any of these guys could probably teach, and they don't want to put it up as their site. So
that's Ammar's email address.
Oh yeah.
You know what? That would have value even if you don't want to build a site on it. That would be a great. We're speaking to two gentlemen in this panel who have some pretty interesting domains just to send emails from.
And I think Care Dental could be a brand for somebody. So that's what I think. I do not like web experts as everyone else. I also don't like Grow Store. So
you get out much? You know how many grocery stores there are?
No one brought up
It's like a grocery store. I don't know where you are, but I mean, there's grocery stores on every corner.
Then why didn't you mention it? What are your thoughts on that? What would you sell it?
Well, because I was the only one stuck to the rules. I had to pick one, so I stuck to what I picked. Yeah. But I like Grow Store. I'm going to definitely be bidding on Grow Store. I back ordered it. I like Grow Store.
I just got to bid on it now to bid you up.
Well, we all know your username now. It's Juan Valdez domain. Nice.
So
what?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll throw in another word from our sponsors here. Certainly appreciate all that they do, and I hope that our users have listened for this long.
FD was built by domain investors to increase your inquiries, sales, and profit. Forget spreadsheets and archived emails. Manage your entire investment portfolio in one place using a secure and completely confidential platform. Learn more at FT.com. That's EFTY, FT.com.
So let's start to wrap it up. I think let's just see, anybody have anything they want to highlight, anything going on in your business or professional life that you want to give a shout out to? Ammar, you've gone in the middle every time. So this time you get to go, wait, everybody went, right? This is a lot to keep track of. I think
so.
Talked about the names they liked, right? Richard, yeah, we all did.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Ammar, you go first. What's going on?
If I ever get my head out of my ass, which hopefully will happen by 11/11, I'll finally launch Afterthought. So that's the plan. 11/11 at 11/11. That's the plan. So I
sold 11.com on 11/11.
Oh, there you go.
No,
nice.
Sorry. I sold 11.com on 11/11/11. So it was November 11th, 2011.
Wow.
Which is, what do they call, what's that day in China? It's like Good Friday in America.
Oh, Singles Day.
Singles Day. So 11/11 is Singles Day. And so that, which is big, right? That's Black Friday. Yeah. And so I sold 11.com to somebody who intended, I don't know what it is today. Let's see. But they intended to use it like BlackFriday.com. And they bought it on November 11th, 2011.
Nice.
Which at the time, I think, was the largest two-number.com publicly reported. And then it got absolutely blown away since then.
Interesting.
It doesn't even resolve anymore. It's 403 forbidden. Man,
So,
what a
Ammar,
great domain that was.
Tell us for a minute, what is thought convergence?
No, Afterthought.
I mean, afterthought. Sorry.
So that's what's after thought convergence. That's where I am.
Exactly.
My plan is to actually start blogging, but not necessarily about domains, just kind of about whatever's on my mind. I just want to start writing. And I don't know how prolific I'll be, but I just want to be able to have a place to write. So that's the plan.
Okay. All right. Well,
And I
looking
may
forward to it
showcase-
very much.
Yeah, I may showcase some of my favorite names, some of the life-changing ones that Richard talks about. I'll probably put some of those on there. Not everything, but just a handful of the ones I really like.
Very cool. All right. I'm looking forward to it. That's for sure. All right. Larry.
Just riding out the pandemic, selling names, buying names, brokering names, living in this beautiful backdrop here, and just hoping everyone stays safe.
Thank you. Yeah, likewise. All right. Eat all the bagels for me. Adam, how about you? What's going on at Evergreen? You're muted.
There we go. Sorry. Buying and selling. Nothing more. Got nothing to talk about. Just watch out when I'm bidding. Stay out of my
All right. Well, watch out for you and your dog. All right. Richard, how about you? What's up at logo.com or in Whistler?
Yeah, working away. It was interesting to see that NamesCon Online did really well. I think that they've already announced that Austin in January will not be going on, but it will be virtual again. I'm looking forward to that. I really enjoyed the online conference, and I'm actually going to book more time off to actually hang out in that networking hall, because the time that I did spend in there was a lot of fun. It's kind of like being on Zoom with you guys. It's a lot. It's really refreshing. But yeah, I'm working on logo.com. We just did a cool project for a portfolio owner where they gave us a list of 1,500 names with keywords, and then we auto-generated 1,500 logos for them. So that was pretty fun. And so yeah, we're just working away, just listening to what customers want and then building it.
What kind of bulk pricing can you do for that type of volume?
For you, Andrew, hit me up. I'm sure we can work out a smoking deal.
Or we could have everyone on this panel guess.
Now you're speaking my language.
I mean, right now we're what I'd call pre-revenue. We're more interested in building a customer base than we are in the revenue. So, and now is a good time. If you're listening to this podcast a year from now, then you're not going to get that price break. But hit us up right now, and we'll work for a steal of a deal.
Cool. Nice work. Keep it up. And Andrew Rosener, what's happening?
What's happening? So, I have a new puppy. What's going on? So, we've got a couple things that are, going on really big. Can't really talk about them, but it's coming soon. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very exciting. What else is going on? I don't know. That's it. Just I'm working away. I think, in a couple of weeks, I'll have a lot more to talk about and what's going on.
All right. Well, we're very worried that you're going to run out of things to say. Thank you each this was just too fun. You're all invited back next year. I think we should take a group photo first, and then we should peace out. What do you say? All right. Happy Sherp-o-ween.
I wish my wings showed up.
I know. We all wish you had wings, Drew. Okay, on 3, happy Sherp-o-ween. Ready, set, 1, 2, 3. Happy Sherp-o-ween.
Happy Sherp-o-ween.
All right. See you all next time. Bye.
Ciao.